'Twas the night before league start, and all through Ray classed, everyone was hoping this countdown would go fast. Grab yourself a drink, it is time for some Path of Exile 1 discussion. This is the final day of teaser season for patch 3.29. I'm going to say that the league starts tomorrow, but depending on where you are in the world, it could well be starting today. That is right, it is less than 12 hours as I'm recording this, and definitely less than 12 hours as you're watching it, until Curse of the Allflame goes live. Grindy Games had a number of small final announcements today. Let's go through all of them. First up, there is the torrent post. Now, most of the patching process is something that you can start doing 3 hours before league start. And this is something for PC players. It's a little bit different for consoles. Someone that's a console expert is probably the best person to find out information about that process there. So if you're on console, go and have a read of this post. But if you're on PC, most of you, 3 hours before league start, that is the time to start patching the game. There is also a torrent that's available. This is an alternative way of patching the game. The vast majority of players should not bother with this torrent. There is a small use case for it if you have an internet speed that is somewhere in the order 5 gigabytes per hour. And especially if you're in a situation where you are not able to start your download promptly 3 hours before league start. In that situation, you might consider getting the torrent, but for most people, you can just completely ignore this. Even if you do get the torrent, you will still have an additional patch that you'll need to download before you can get into game anyway. If you are one of those people that needs the torrent though, link down in the description below, you'll be able to find it there. After that, we have Grindy Games' video showcase of the Luminary. Now this is the new mercenary-friendly Scion ascendancy that's being added, and they put together some gameplay footage of this both at low level and at high, and they also put together some outlines of potential builds. I don't know how min-max these are, but they definitely wanted a couple of items that are going to be fairly hard to get your hands on, including things that drop from Uber incarnations. So, fair warning, if you're interested in following these builds, they might be difficult to follow very early on, because there are things that come from Uber Pinnacle bosses that are needed in them. That said, there's some really cool stuff there, and if you're looking for inspiration, or if you're just wanting to add a little bit of extra decision paralysis to your life, then definitely check out this video. I'll put a link to it down in the description below. Where in the past, I've gone through a lot of GGG's videos slowly and methodically and pointed a bunch of things out from them. This one, I think, is best standing alone, so I'm not going to do that. Besides, if you've got a huge amount of time to have a look at a video, I did do a massive video recently, and that's something like 12 hours ago. I'll put a link to it down in the description below, but it's talking about a whole bunch of different kind of trade league optimized strategies for making currency early in the league, and also, most importantly, pairing a build to your strategy. Whatever you're doing, and this applies to solo self-found players as well, don't just think of a league starter. Think of a league start plan that is a cohesive whole where you've got a character plan, but you also have a content that you're targeting as a plan as well. And of course, if you're in solo self-found, you need to be a bit more flexible just because of the nature of that type of gameplay. After this, Grindy Games are running not one, but 2 MTX promotions. The first one of these is basically an advertisement for the game. The second one of these, which will be the last thing we'll talk about, is going to be a reward for people playing the game. So the one that is a free MTX promo that is basically part of Grindy Games' advertising budget, this is the Twitch drops. There are going to be 2 MTX that they're giving away, and they're actually both really cool. The one that I prefer is the one that is a replacement for your hideout crafting bench. This thing is awesome, and this is the one that you can't get for free. This is the Support a Streamer promo. They've run these before, but basically it requires you to gift 2 subs on Twitch, or alternately to subscribe to 2 channels, or you can mix and match those. Subscribe to one and provide a gift sub to another. No matter what you do, this is going to cost money, and it is important to note that Prime subs are excluded. So if you already have Amazon Prime, then those subs, while they're welcome by streamers, including myself, they're not something that will count for this. All of the details of this are in the description below, and I think it's worth checking out the 2 different MTX that they've got here. The other one that they're providing is the Nautical Explorer back attachment, and this is a little boat that you can carry around with you, but it also remembers all of the places you've visited in Rayclast. Or more particularly, it counts up the number of waypoints that you've encountered in the campaign, and it also counts up the number of maps that you've entered at endgame. This is just one of those fun little stat tracker things, and it's something that you can then link in chat if you're interested and you want to show off, that you've done 10,000 maps or something completely and utterly crazy like that. I will be streaming from a couple of hours before league start. Haven't worked out exactly when. That's going to depend on how well I sleep tonight. But I am aiming to be streaming from probably 2 hours out, sitting in the queue until we get started. Very important note though, with the Support a Streamer promo, this does not start until the servers go up. You've got to keep this one in mind. Do not gift subs or buy subs before the servers go up, because it starts right at the moment that that server goes up. All the terms and conditions though down in the description below. After this, we have some patch note changes. These came along very late, so you might have missed them. Updated Abyss-specific modifiers that are provided by Lightless Astrolabe, so that is the Abyss-themed Astrolabe, in maps, in lieu of the combat changes that have been made to Abysses. So Abysses work a bit differently, so some of the Abyss mods that are on the Astrolabe, they work a bit differently as well. Now, this is something that was already mentioned in the Q&A, but has not been mentioned in the patch notes. Most skills and supports that now deal more DPS at gem level 20, they now have higher damage growth above level 20 than they did before, meaning that the damage increases are more pronounced if you get above level 20. So if you're able to get to, say, gem level 27 or 30, you might find that a gem that got 15% buffs at level 20 might actually have a 27% buff at level 30. And I'm making that number up. That's not something from Grindgear Games. Arcanist brand has a description change. This is not a functional change. There was already a 480 centimeter direct flight limit on projectiles that come from skills that are cast by Arcanist brand, but this is now explicitly stated rather than just it telling you that they're shorter. Molten Burst now has 60% fizz conversion to fire. I think this was 40% in the past. If I'm right about that, that's actually quite a big improvement. And the Matryoshka Divination card now awards an item level 86 Vestigal unique item. So previously this was giving you a quad anointed bricked Stranglegrass that was incubated with something. And they've just gone with something else that's the theme of an item bursting out of another item. Well, you can't get much more thematic than a Vestigal unique item. That is a unique item bursting out of another unique item. Updated patch notes. I don't actually see the update here. This is something we discussed when I did my massive patch notes live stream. I think it's still the same. You can re-roll 3 random modifiers on a rare item for a cost of 3 Chaos Orbs, so that will preserve the other 1, 2, or 3 that are on it. And you can re-roll a single modifier on a rare item, i.e. Path of Exile 2 style Chaos Orbs. This is going to cost you 8 Chaos Orbs, and this is potentially really, really good. The number of monster packs spawned in Unstable Breaches has been nerfed by 15%. I think that was previously 25% or 20%. And the progress for killing breach monsters has been increased by 25% to not just compensate, but slightly overcompensate for the reduced number of monsters. So the breach nerfs, they're still there, they're still very real, but they're slightly less than they were before. Now, the unhallowed right notable, this is being added to the Occultist. This is compressed, the channeling time. This is miles better than it was before. Previously, you needed to channel a skill for 1 second to get any credit towards the Spirit Infusion. Now, each stack of Spirit Infusion is half what it was before, but at the same time, you can get twice as many of them, but you get them twice as fast. What this means in practice is if you channel for 0.9 seconds, you are no longer getting absolutely no progress towards Spirit Infusion and also absolutely no progress towards stopping Spirit Infusion's decay. So now you would get 1 stack of Spirit Infusion and you would reset the decay. This is miles better than it was before. This is probably now actually a fairly good notable. It's exactly what it needed. Bit of Frost, I think, is still the same as it was before when we discussed it yesterday. And Rolling Magma, we've got some clarification that it is getting nerfed at level 1. We knew it was getting nerfed at level 1. This was said already, but they just explicitly stated here. I think they've also buffed it further at gem level 20, but I never want to see this skill again. So even if it's really, really good at endgame, I don't want to see it. Finally, after all the patch notes, Grindgear Games brought out the Challenge Rewards, and this one's been interesting. Earlier, we were talking about MTX that they use as a form of advertising. This is MTX as a reward for playing the game. These will be free, and the challenges could be fairly hard, but the thing that I like here is the divisive portal. They have a portal that I really like. Some people like it, some people don't like it, but it's a very, very clean, very, very simple portal, and it's just a big blob of water with a fish swimming around inside it. I really like it. There's also a pet that's there as well. I think these are some of the better challenge rewards. The last 4 leagues in a row, I believe it was, all of them had armor sets. And Grindgear Games have decided they're going to alternate going forward because there are some players who strongly prefer the armor sets. There are some players who have enough armor sets to sink a battleship. They're never going to use any of the new ones. And they want to basically try and split the difference a bit so as to keep both groups at least content. No massive things this time like hideouts, but I do like the portal. Your mileage may vary. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in during teaser season. This is going to be the end of my teaser season coverage unless something really, really weird happens. I will probably put up a video of some description around about 4 or 5 in the morning my time, so that'll be when it's about 2 hours until the server comes on. That will be a recording from a discussion that I might do on my stream when I'll be going through anything that's been able to be data mined so far. That will come up only if there is stuff that can be data mined usefully and stuff that's genuinely interesting. I won't do that unless there's stuff that's interesting. Otherwise, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to get about a 300% more multiplier to how often my videos show up on YouTube for you, then you can click the subscribe button. If you don't want that to happen, then you can also not subscribe. And if you'd like to get a short-term boost to how often you see my videos, but one that decays pretty quickly, not as slowly as the subscription one does, but does stack with it, then you can always hit the like button and that sends that signal to YouTube instead. I'm also going to take this last moment of your time to plug my side project. This is a litRPG science fantasy web serial that I have been recording myself over on my second YouTube channel, and I'll put a link to that down in the description below. I have a playlist that's got something like 27 chapters uploaded at the moment, I think, and that's something you could consider if you like having an audiobook on at League Start. Unfortunately, because that channel doesn't yet have 1,000 subscribers or close to it and doesn't have 4,000 watch hours or close to it, I don't yet have the agency to turn off ads on it, which is something that's a bit annoying because it is exactly the sort of thing that would be better without ads. But anyways, I thought I'd bring it to your attention. I'm going to leave it there. May your Varlorbs have interesting results. If you haven't decided on a League and Atlas strategy combination, I've got some ideas for you, and I'll put them in the bottom right corner of the screen now. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. Have fun.